Hello, I'm Frank Ball, co-founder and chief innovation officer here at Call to Action, and I wanted to take the time to share some important information on some things that I learned a year ago when I was supporting a reseller's business in the United Kingdom. Now, to begin with, I was at Cisco for 5 years, and when I left, I went to a reseller and I took on their networking business. I grew that business with a solid team from $8.5 million to $110 million in 3.5 years. And what I'm about to share with you is the method in which I did this. Now, I could take and make a 10-minute video of all the anecdotes about how I got to where I am today, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to cut to the chase. Let's talk about maintenance, especially Cisco SmartNet. It's incredibly complex for resellers and for customers alike, and I recognized this early on. It's one of the easiest attack strategies for any sales force on the planet. When you gain access to a customer's contracts, you get a snapshot of their install base. And you can tell a lot about a customer's strategy for things like unified communications, virtualization, even VDI when you take a look at what they have. Now, a couple of key points of data that you may or may not know. Number one, vendor maintenance increases between 5 and 15% year over year. Number two, most customers are required to carry maintenance, and on certain products they have to have if they want access to upgrades and enhancements. Three, there's key strategies you can use to reduce a customer's maintenance cost by up to 30% while taking away your competition's leverage inside of an account. Now, something I learned on my trip to the UK was that Cisco Capital multi-year finance for SmartNet was relatively new when I got there. I don't know if these conversations are still going on or if you're even familiar with this. But in the States, one of the things that we leveraged, and in Canada, with a multi-year discount being financed into a deal, you can sell 3 years of maintenance to your customer and they can pay annually. And they can avoid the 5 to 15% increase that we see in the industry. And they can do this with a 0% finance charge. This means that you can flatline their maintenance costs. They're paying the same thing year over year for 3 years and sometimes up to 5 years. But that 3-year period is guaranteed to be 0% financing. Now, I'm not English, but I think you find people in England call this cheeky. Don't throw stones at me, that's a guess. As we say in North America, but wait, there's more. The last part of the conversation saved you about 5 to 7% for your customers over a 3-year term. While this is great, I don't really call that cheeky. What I do think is cheeky is when you look at a customer's use of gear that carries a limited lifetime warranty. And by the way, Cisco carries this on a big part of their environment. We can talk more about this in person. You can leverage LLW, as I like to call it, in a spares program where it makes sense, and you can save your customers tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In a very, very large environment, it can actually be millions of dollars. One customer that I worked with here in the US had an annual renewal of $465,000 a year. By the way, that included their gear in the US, Canada, and the United Kingdom. With 0% financing on a 3-year deal, we saved them $71,000. When we added limited lifetime warranty, we found another $335,000 in savings over the 3-year term. But the truth of the matter is, those costs disappear for the entirety of the time that they own that gear in their environment. Our analysis just happened to look at 3 years. Ah yes, cheeky, but wait, there's even more. Now here's my plug for our company. At Call to Action, we developed a tool set that makes this entire process easy and simple for you and your customers. And one additional thing that we do is we give you the capability to see end of life, end of sale, end of support equipment that a customer has inside of their environment, especially around Cisco. The recurring maintenance cost on this tends to go up 35 to 45% for stuff that's gone end of life, end of sale in the last years for the products that replace them. That's the comparison. Becoming a trusted advisor for your customer by telling them that gear is at end of its life cycle a year or more in advance so they can build a replacement budget is a great strategy that you can use and a way for you to get in there to really put together a strategy for the right kit that should be in the replacement legacy kit. And by the way, visibility and awareness, you want to tell them 24 months before this is going to happen, not 6 to 8 months. By the way, when you do this, you have the capability to use Cisco's Technology Migration Program coupled with an Opportunity Incentive Program, or OIP plus TMP, to gain you a competitive advantage on that hardware. Yes, you want to use this strategy to go after and take over hardware. There's one more trick that can net you another 3% of gross on the deal that you're selling as it relates to maintenance, but you know what? I'm going to hold that for just a second. I'm going to put the ball back in your court. If you want to know more, here's your call to action. reply to the original email that I sent that contained this video and say, I want to know more. And we'll schedule a call on a WebEx and I'll tell you more about the 3% and how I used this strategy to become the Canadian Growth Partner of the Year, the first year that we acquired Cisco Gold status. Again, I'm Frank Ball. Hopefully I'm not killing you with my emails and tidbits, but I do look forward to the conversation on the way that we can help you grow your business.